Hello and welcome to Between the Lines. On this show, you will hear about and from lesser-known Canadian authors and writers who, for whatever reason, have remained under the radar of traditional publishers and publishing houses. If it has something to do with writing or the writing process, you are going to hear a discussion about it here. I'm your host, Randy Lacey, and I encourage you to grab your bevy of choice, get comfy, and get ready to go between the lines. People come into writing in several different ways. For some, it was a teacher at school handing out a writing assignment. For others, it may have been by reading and wondering if they might be able to write. Every writer has started their writing journey on a different path. Each writer's journey will be different, yet similar. But one thing all writers have in common is a different destination. On this episode, I will be speaking with Liian Varus. Hello, Liian, and welcome to Between the Lines.
Hi, welcome to my dining room.
Welcome to my basement studio.
Going well.
Instead of me reading a blurb about you, I'm sure the listening people would prefer to hear a little bit about you in your own voice and in your own words. So could you give a little brief bio about yourself?
I wasn't aware this was a dating site. No, wait. Hold up. Oh, okay. Hi, everybody out there. I am 38 years old. I'm not single. I'm sorry. I am an author of 3 books. I live in Sault, BC. I have the most lovely feathers, and it's not weird because I'm a real crow. Look it up. And I like hockey and nachos. Is that good? Is that something that you can go with, or do you need more?
Oh, that's good enough right now, I guess, because we're going to get into some questions, and you're going to reveal, a little bit more, I hope.
Oh yeah. I live in a nutshell, so it's kind of hard. Like that's pretty much me. And I have mental health issues, but that's not obvious. It is it's obvious, but I'm happy right now, so that's good.
Well, I'm going to ask you an off-script question then. You say you're dealing with mental health issues. Show me somebody who isn't. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I don't even feel even special in the sad way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That was all my relevancy gone, just like that.
No, you know what? Your relevancy is within your writing as well, so we still have all that to cover.
Oh, that's right. When I die, my books will still be out there. That's cool.
Absolutely. So I guess question number 1 for you then is, what is your philosophy about writer's block?
I feel like it's just like, it's like all in your head, but I always got around it with sad music. And then when I listen to my sad music, I dig a little hole in me, and I go down in that hole until I get super, super sad. And then the deeper I go, my writer's block can't find me, and then I just start writing, and then that's how I do it. And that's how you get out of writer's block. So is that a philosophy? Is that a good answer?
Well, that's your perspective and how you deal with it, so it would be your philosophy, I would imagine.
I used to take medication, but I got zombie brain, like I couldn't think. I was like happy, but there's I don't know what to write now. Like nobody wants to read about unicorns and rainbows, except for my 4-year-old. She would like that.
That's a whole different, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting philosophy. I would run with that.
Okay,
where do you find your inspiration to write?
Mental turmoil? That's pretty inspirational. But I listen to a lot of music, and then I just listen to it over and over and over, and then music tells a story, but then I try to interpret that story how, I see it, and then I just start writing from there. And that's as easy as I can explain it, I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm trying so hard to make sense.
Well, it is making sense. And I mean, before we started this interview, we talked about music. So I guess your answer was going to lead me to another question, which is basically, when you write, do you listen to music?
Oh, yes. Right now I'm going through a catalog of post-punk. I don't know. It's just these like Have a Nice Life and Blackwing and Pygmy Lush, or there's all these like obscure bands, and but they really pack a punch in like the heartstrings, not like in a Celine Dion way, but just like a deep sense of dread, and that's what I need to write. So I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, but Celine Dion has never done anything for me with regards to writing.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's just like people out there that listen to Celine Dion that actually like pulls on their heartstrings. Like yeah. I'm just saying, not from my perspective. I'm just saying that out there, like she's for other people. I was just trying to use them as a metaphor. It's fine.
So like DOA and day-ago abortions and stuff like that?
I know who they are, but I've never listened to them. I need something that's very melodic that kind of takes my brain away, you know, like it just kind of sucks me in. So like haunting music.
And so that's playing while you're writing.
Yes. So I can tune when I listen to music. I can tune out their singing just to listen to like the sound, or I can just switch it back on and like listen to the lyrics and kind of like interpret what they're saying, and then just kind of like do my own thing what I need to do. But I can't write in silence because then I just start talking to myself, and then I get nothing done. And then I start like petting a cat, and then I go make some food, and so I need music. It keeps me centered.
Ooh, shiny. Anyway.
Shiny, exactly. I'm a crow, and that's a major problem. So especially when you got kids with like shiny things, and I have to chase. They think I'm chasing them, but I just really want that helium balloon because it's made out of foil and it reflects.
It's funny that you should call yourself a crow because years ago I used to think I was Raven.
Oh, well, look at that. It's like we're meant to like this is meant to happen.
And a friend of mine who now lives in Nova Scotia, he is absolutely positively convinced that I was Merlin in another life.
Well, that's all right. I would put that on my resume. I feel like if I was going for like a managerial job, I'd be like, I used to be Merlin, and that's all I would have on my resume. Because you don't need anything else. Like that.
No, yeah. What are your qualifications? I was Merlin.
Yeah, I know magic, man.
That's a good song too, by the way. Do you have a secret writing place you hide yourself away in?
Inside my emotional instability. Oh wait, no, you mean like a room?
Like like a little den or like a little cave somewhere or a crow's nest.
I have like this study that's got double glass doors, and it's great because not only do I get perfect lighting, but when people walk down the street, they can see me with my crow face, and then they kind of give me that look like they're in the wrong side of town. And you want to know something? They are in the wrong side of town. But so that's always fun for me, getting people's reactions when I'm doing writing stuff. Because sometimes I need to have like that sense of manic, and when I wear my crow face, I get that manic just hits me. Like it's almost like a character transformation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because pretty much my pseudonym and like my personality is me, but like times like 100. You know what I mean? It's like a superpower that nobody wants. That's terrible. Oh, I never thought of it like that. I'm fine.
You sound fine to me.
Oh, perfect.
So how much time a day do you devote or dedicate to your writing?
I spend at least 80% of my time trying to convince myself I should do some writing, and I don't. I probably get like maybe 5 hours a week, maybe, because I work a night shift, so I like sleep, but sometimes I'm fighting like, I haven't wrote anything in a while. I should probably get off my butt and do some. But then sometimes I remember how hard writing is, and then I get a migraine, and I just cry myself back to sleep.
Well,
sorry?
Isn't crying the place where you like to write from?
Not when I'm tired, but yeah. But you got to balance your crying. So if you cry too much, it's hard to see the keyboard, and then you make a lot of like spelling errors, you know? So and there's a lot of editing after that. It's problematic.
So just so you know, I've downloaded your 3 books.
Oh, that was you. It's like, I haven't sold anything in like 6 months, and all of a sudden 3. I'm like, and then it's back to silence. But that's okay. I appreciate it.
Well, you know what? I mean, I wanted to read up a little bit about what you write or how you write for this interview. So I thought it would be the right thing to do.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And so I've only managed to get through a little bit of, I think it's your O to be human. Is that O to be human?
Oh, yeah. That's good that it was that one and not the second one, because if we get time, the second one is strange. Is that one was, in a long story short, that was a long joke. But anyway, O to be human. Yeah, that's my first one. That's the ultra sad one. Yeah.
That's your first one. So, of course, with my visual impairment, reading is difficult. So I use the tool to, it reads to me, right?
Yeah.
And I was listening to Shaking Death's Hand, or Shaking the Hand of Death?
Something like that. Shaking hands with death. I think so. Sounds about right.
Anyway, it resonated.
I wrote
resonated with me because I almost died once.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh yeah. But that's another story for somebody to interview me about. But yeah, so it resonated with me, and I've actually had to go back and listen to it a couple of times. But so yeah, deep and dark is how you're writing, or at least that's how I depict it.
Oh yeah, the whole book is like that. There's not a single smile in that book for sure.
Okay, and is that your preferred style?
Yeah, it comes naturally to me, which is also a super crappy superpower. But my wife's just like, just try write happy. You have so much to be happy about. I'm like, that's not really how like depression and stuff works. Like, you don't really focus on happy things. You kind of dwell on like things that are eating you alive, So I just try to use that to keep myself sane, and I channel it into my writing, so I don't go insane and become some kind of like serial killer or something.
Well, ask your wife to name at least one author who was successful as a writer in depressing or horrific ways. And the first one that comes to mind to me would be Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh yeah. I've been fortunate enough for the people to say like, tell me that him and I are kind of like the samesies, but that's just them being nice. But I'll take it though. I'll take it.
Well, growing up, Edgar Allan Poe is one of my favorite authors. So, and try as I might to emulate his style, I have yet to even come close to anything he's ever written.
Well, there's just some writers you just can't touch. They're just in a league of their own. Great movie, by the way. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I do, about the movie too.
Yeah.
What is the one aspect of your writing you would most like to improve, and explain why?
Poetry's never been a problem for me. That comes pretty natural. But I've been slowly stepping away from poetry to try something different, and I'm working on this horror novel. And I'm just trying to work on structure and like dialogue, and I'm just like quickly realizing I have no idea what I'm doing, and then it's just been a lot of trial and error. And unfortunately, I asked my wife to read some stuff, and she's just like, you know what? The story is amazing, the characters are amazing, but the writing, it's pretty juvenile. And as I try to keep my heart from ripping itself apart from that kind of critique, I was like, you know what? I need some work. I gotta do something about that. So I'm in the process of learning how to write a novel.
Have you ever heard of Jerry Jenkins?
I've heard of the name Jerry and the name Jenkins, but just not together.
Okay.
So no.
Well, Jerry Jenkins is a very successful author, and every now and then on the Canadian Creative Writers, I post some of his videos. But he's got a few videos on how to write dialogue.
Oh, okay.
And they're very, very, very good. He's on YouTube. He's actually I think he's got a free writing course.
Oh, well, free's in my budget, so that's good.
What is the hardest thing for you to write about? And I think you might have hit on it in a previous question, but
yeah, anything that's happy, essentially. I just can't. Like, even if I tried it, like, my last book, Good Night, Pat and Aaron and Farewell, I was like, okay, I told my wife, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book just about nature poetry, and that's all it's going to be. And then it slowly went from nature poetry into, like, you could just see where, like, depression starts to, like, sink in. And then it went from nature poetry to, like, me wanting to kill myself at the very end. I'm like, well, that escalated quickly. And then so I tried, and I just can't. So I just stick with my misery. And it loves company, so if you ever want to come over for tea, we can commiserate on things. That's good.
Well, I might hold you to that because I do love the island. It's beautiful out there.
It is. It's besides, like,
All right, so this is I guess it's a longer question. So there's what type of writer are you? Are you a plotter, someone who plans out their novel or whatever they're writing? Are you a pantser, someone who flies by the seat of their pants, meaning, you don't plan anything? Or are you a plantser, which is someone who is a little of both?
I guess a plan, like, I always try to have a plan, but as the whole Good Night book, that was supposed to be nature poetry and it didn't turn out that way. So I think I plan for a beginning, knowing that it's not going to end that way. You know what I mean? So I would say a planter, because I'm writing, like, this children's circus book right now, but it's not for kids. It just kind of feels like it's for kids.
Okay.
And I was gonna have like a two main characters going through a circus, and now it's done in the main character is like a ghost, and he's talking to the reader, asking questions, and the reader, it's set up so, like, the reader, like, when you're talking to yourself and you're having a conversation, the book kind of reads like that. So it's very manic. And so when the main character asks you questions, and then you kind of, like, off the cuff of your brain, is that a saying? Anyway, and then you give out answers, and then he'll, like, actually continue the dialogue. It's, like, kind of done in, like, a generic way, so no matter what your answer is, it'll fit in with, like, the dialogue. And I'm like, this is super complicated. Why am I doing this? That's not what I wanted to do. And so a planter for sure.
So
does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
There's an author that I actually like a lot, Dean Koontz. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh yeah.
So his Odd Thomas books.
Which ones?
Odd Thomas.
I've never read that.
Okay, well, I think there's 5 in the series about this character named Odd Thomas, and he finds himself in the most difficult of situations, visited by the ghost of Elvis and a few other celebrities who he carries conversations with, but they never answer him.
Oh yeah.
So I would recommend you having a good read of those to maybe work your way through on how that could work for you.
Yeah, I feel like that would be somewhat helpful, because it's hard to explain to people what I'm doing because it's so manic, and, like, people have, like, said, you should kind of break up because it's like the page is just one big paragraph, because it's like, when you're having a conversation with yourself, there's no real, like, pauses. It's just like this, like me right now, I just a mile a minute, and, like, no, because that'll wreck the vibe. I don't want it paced out. I want it to be like manic panic, so.
But there's an audience, because there's people like that. You just got to find them, and they've got to find you.
Yeah, like, I don't think I'm going to get, like, a Harry Potter fan base here, but, we'll see what happens. Not many people even like circuses, apparently. I'm like, what's wrong with clowns? But then I remember Gacy. I'm like, oh, yes.
That's anyway. one bad apple.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Like, you might, like, think about Karen. That one Karen that ruined it for all the other Karens. All Karens are bad. Like, it's literally like a swear word now or something. Like, you're such a Karen, so.
It's funny because I'm interviewing somebody named Karen on Sunday.
Oh, great. So this will make a great segue then.
Oh my goodness. So read Odd Thomas. They're actually very entertaining.
Perfect. That's the thing. it's hard when you're being a writer because you're like, I got to do all this writing. It's like, I should probably read something. But if I'm reading, then I'm not writing. And then they're like, oh, yeah, sleep. Oh, food.
Oh, work. Oh, my daughter.
I know, it's just like life. It says life does not want. That's why authors get so stoked when they finally publish a book, because that 70-page book took 9 years and they finally did it. You know, because it's just life is just. It's not like a box of chocolate. I tell you. It's more like curbside French fries.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Is there anything about your writing journey so far that you wish you had done differently?
I wish I started earlier. Like I've been writing poetry since 2000 or so, and I just never done anything with it. I've just been hoarding it and hoarding it and hoarding it, and then it wasn't until 2017 or something when I found like Amazon published it for free. I was like, oh, I got all this writing, you know. So I kind of started late in the game because I had the material forever. So when I published my first book, it was like all the best stuff that I had, obviously. But then I was just like, you know what would be really funny? If I took the rest of it, which is really bad, by the way. It's your typical goth emo, I'm so sad, I want to die. No real thought process, just anger, really. Like, I'm going to turn this into a book. And my wife's just like, don't do it. You'll wreck your career. It just started. I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody knows who I am. I don't make sales. I'm going to do this. So I took all my crappy poetry and made this book. It's strange. And it's over like 400 pages of the worst poetry you could possibly ever read. But before every poem, I wrote like a little blurb before it, making fun of it before people actually started reading it. At the end of the book, if you make it there, there's a section where you can draw your feelings and how that book made you feel. It's like, so that was a fun write. But yeah, I just wish I started earlier because I feel like I wasted a lot of time, and then I'm gonna die soon probably. I don't know, maybe. And I just kind of feel like I'm rushed. You know, I got so much to do, and it's either if I'm gonna go or the planet's gonna go first. I don't know. It's like this race that no one's gonna really win. So I'm just kind of, you know.
Well, there is that saying that, you know, tomorrow is not guaranteed anyway, right? So
yeah, I know I have a lot of fears. Like a lot of fears. My wife gets kind of angry. She's like, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm like, well, it's kind of it's far fetched, but it's not impossible. And that's my whole thing. Is like, if it's possible, no matter like how outlandish it is, like I'm gonna be afraid of it probably. So
if I can think it, it can happen.
That's right. So I live in a world where dreams come true.
Well, there you go.
Mostly like rich, beautiful people, mostly. But you know, sometimes the little guy gets a win. So
well, sometimes
it is, you know. So I just want to win the lottery. That's my dream. That's my goal. I'm going to win the lottery, just so I can isolate myself in the middle of nowhere from the rest of the planet. That's my goal. That's not really a writing goal.
You are kind of sort of in the middle of nowhere, are you not?
Well, Sioux, yeah. Well, if I say I'm from Sioux, BC, a lot of people will be like, where?
Exactly.
And that's kind of nice, right? But the problem is that everyone knows where Victoria is, and it's so overpopulated that they're all seeping into Sioux, and now they're building a strip mall behind my house.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was a nice, beautiful field, and now they're going to build a strip mall. The parking lot touches my fence. I saw the drawings. There's not even a green space. It's just a parking lot and my fence. And you know what that means? Do you want to know what that means, Randy?
That means that you're going to have some awesome story material.
That means someone's going to spray paint the back of my fence. That's what that means. I just can't. I'm going to sell my house.
No.
That's what I'm going to do. So anyway, live in the middle of nowhere. That's the plan.
Well, I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a small town called Trochu, Alberta.
Oh, Trochu. I lived in Alberta for a lot of years. I never heard of Trochu.
Well, it's, you know, pretty much right between Calgary and Red Deer.
Really?
Yeah.
I do the drive all the time. Well, I used to. Like, I never saw. It's not by the main drag, right?
Well, it's not up Highway 2. No, it's Highway 21, which connects to the Trans-Canada and goes right up to Edmonton.
Oh, because I know there's like Black Falls. And,
yeah.
Is it kind of like around there?
Well, Three Hills.
Oh, yes, that's a super religious commune, isn't it?
They do call it the Bible Belt of Alberta, but I think they're wearing suspenders these days.
Oh, that's nice that they can upgrade their fashion. That's nice.
Or they need to put more notches in their belts, either one, because they seem to be falling down.
They should just be thankful that they can afford a belt. I'm saving my money. I'm gonna get belt and suspenders. That's my goal.
Well, I own them both, but I hardly ever use them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I just don't want to leave the house, and I won't even be wearing clothes. I just be wearing my crow face, just making coffee naked in the window, waving to neighbors and stuff. That's also another goal I have.
Oh, there he goes again.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Ha, ha.
Exactly. I'm going to put a big megaphone on my roof and just call it things.
Get a looping recording of it, eh?
You know, there's a person around Sioux that walks around and just feeds the crows. And I don't follow him anymore because he got scared. Because, you know, when you get like a 6-foot crow, you know, eating seeds off the ground, it kind of puts people into a panic. But it's nice that he feeds the crows. They really love him. So
I bet they do.
Because if you piss off a crow, then they'll tell their friends, and they'll never forget you. And every time they see you, they'll attack you. So
you know what? You speak the truth.
That's right. He's growing his army. I should be doing that. I get all my crow friends to go to work for me. That'd be so nice.
Look, you're giving yourself a lot of story material right here.
I know. It's like,
write this down.
What's this book called? Everything.
Well, you know, you've heard of the Internet of Everything. Well, you're going to have the Crow of Everything.
That's right. I know everything. Just ask.
All right, we're going to move into part 2 here, which is the, you know, we're going to, I call it a point in the right direction because it's basically where you're going to start talking about your books and stuff. So with that being said, you've got 3 books that you said you've published.
Yeah.
So what are they called?
The first one is Oh to Be Human. The second one is Stranged, and it's just a play on words from the word estranged.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is Goodnight, Taryn Aram, and Farewell. That's all one word. I mean, sentence, title. It's a lot of words.
All right. And so they're all poetry?
They're all poetry. Like Oh to Be Human is just like my super dark. So if you like being depressed, or if you're sick and tired of being happy and you really want to feel like there's no sense of hope in the world, that's a good book to start with. And then if you like crappy poetry that's dark and a lot of horror based, Is Strange is good. If you're having a complex about your writing abilities and like how you are as a poet, if you want to feel better about yourself, Is Strange is probably where you want to go. It's a good self-esteem booster for everybody else. It's not for me. I don't read it. And then Good Night, the big title book I did there. That's just it's poetry, but it's complex. I get complicated sometimes. So how it starts is like it's like a journal. It's like it's about like a writer, and he's writing a journal about like what's going on with his life, and then there's a poem that attaches to that journal entry, and it plays like that. And then as you go, it goes from like nature poetry, and then his life eventually gets darker and darker and darker, and I'm kind of like the pseudo main character, like vain, I know, sue me, and then then I just die at the end, and everybody's happy. Well, I don't know, maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't get it.
Oh, I'm sure there'd be somebody who missed you, your daughter.
Oh yes, and my crow friends, they're out there doing their thing. Or my wife, maybe, probably. So, when she's not mad at me. I'll have to pick a day where she's not mad at me.
She did marry you for a reason.
Well, it definitely wasn't for money, that's for sure. Unfortunately, I have a habit of deleting things, and I deleted the actual file for Oh to Be Human.
Oh.
Yeah, I have an old version, but it's a train wreck. You know, like my personality. That's fine. Choo-choo. And, so I got to fix that before that comes out, which is funny because that's my most popular book, and I can't do anything about it. So.
Well, you can transcribe everything back over and do it all over again from the beginning.
Well, I just wish when you upload your file into KDP, you could pull it back out of there. You know what I mean?
I do.
But they won't let you do that. They just don't.
How did you do the e-version of it then? Because did you use Kindle Create?
Yeah, I did that.
And you deleted that file?
I didn't think of that. Epiphany. Oh, well, maybe I got it somewhere. Maybe I checked my Kindle Create files. I didn't even think of that. I was just like looking for like my PDF copy or whatever. I'm like, I don't have it. Because I switched laptops. Because my wife spilled orange juice on one of her laptops, or only one, when I was in the middle of writing It's Strange. And all of my followers, like, next day, they like pulled their money together and was able to get a new laptop. You believe that?
Cool. That's cool.
That's crazy. So, yeah. I totally lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Kindle Create and
oh yeah,
your
so
files.
that's why I lost. So that's why I lost the file. So
it might still be in your ebook. You can salvage it from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
This is the reason why I came on this show. I didn't think this was the reason, but it paid off in dividends. This is amazing.
Well, let's hope so, and I hope it works out for you.
I'll keep you posted.
Oh, please do. Please do. I mean, don't let this interview end any future correspondence or conversations, because I'd really be interested. So all your books are available on Amazon. Is there anywhere else?
No, just Amazon. I think I got a link in my Facebook page to like one of them, but Amazon's where you want to go. So, and I also really hope that this interview doesn't wreck your podcast and its credibility. So I apologize if it does. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's an up and coming thing, and I just hope being on this show doesn't ruin your credibility.
What's that?
So on Amazon, to find your book, how would they do a search for you? By title or by name, or?
It's probably just better to do my name,
all right.
Varus, which is LiianVarus, and all my books will pop up there. I did some co-writing with some people. Well, there was author Glacia Kronk, and she uses my poems before her novel, like before the story starts. So you'll get some like Clockmaker series, and my name will be on there, but it's just a single one of my poems that are in there, and that's it.
Okay.
And then after that, it's all like.
Are you currently working on anything? And if so, how close is it to being done?
Yeah, I'm working on a weird circus book. Open the Big Top. Funny story, because mental health is hilarious. I had a mental breakdown, and then I started drawing these weird circus pictures to vent. And then all of a sudden I was like, I want to make this a book. And then so I did all these drawings. So I did all my own illustrations for this book. And I'm just starting writing it now. I'm hoping before Christmas it should be out. And it's really weird and trippy. And it's just like this decrepit circus, and everyone's got deformities and a lot of bloodshed. And the whole premise of the book is this: you get lost in the woods. A ghost finds you, and he's like, you need a telephone to call for help? Well, I'll tell you what. There's a circus around the corner. They have a telephone. And then you spend the whole time in the book going through the circus, looking at like all these exhibits just to use a telephone.
That's actually pretty cool.
And I'm not sure. And then I have it. It's going to end where there could be a sequel. But if it's not a sequel, I think that's fine. But it's one of those things where like you have a mental breakdown, and it becomes a passion project. You got to get it done. You don't care about sales or anything. It's just like, I need to do this, because if I don't, I'm going to tear myself apart.
So now you said this was based off some illustrations that you were drawing?
Yeah, I was doing it to vent because I was not okay. And I don't take antidepressants because I just don't like taking pills. And,
a question I have for you then, though, is like these illustrations, are they full color? Or are they blank? Can they be colored in, or what?
Oh, it's full color. It's all drawn with pencil crayon.
Okay, because I was going to say, are you aware of the low content or no content book market on Amazon?
No.
All right.
Is that a problem thing? Or is that a good thing?
No, but see, like, have you ever heard of adult coloring books?
Oh, yes, I've heard of that.
Okay, those are print on demand on Amazon, and it's a lucrative business. And if you can find yourself a a niche market within that. So like, demented clowns or whatever like that, there's got to be a market for that somewhere, or a niche for that. So what you do is you research on how to do a low content, no content, or adult coloring book, and then you put one of those out. You've got your niche. You know what? There are books, journals, whatever, that are selling like 2,000 copies a month.
Oh, geez. I'm questioning all like my life choices right now. I should have been doing this right off the beginning.
Well, I just learned about it too, so I'm looking into that too. I will send you a link to a guy that I've been watching. He's very knowledgeable and he's got all kinds of information about it. I will send you a link for that too on YouTube.
Oh, perfect. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll finish this book, and then if it does well-ish, then maybe because then I'll have to redraw all the pictures, like it's just, or something similar, and it takes a lot of work. Like every drawing took like 2-4 hours.
But if you want to make the money, you got to do it, right?
Yeah. But every time I do book stuff, it puts a damper on my marriage. So it's a fine balance. It's either like, hey, I'm going to write this book, to like, hey, I live on the street. And because my wife doesn't like it when I talk about books all the time.
Well, you can always get your wife and your daughter in on it too, because they can draw too.
But that's a good idea. I want to do the coloring book. That's great.
I'll talk to you a little bit more about it after. So how and where, I better put my glasses on for this one. How and where, I did nothing. How and where can listeners find you on the web?
I'm kind of everywhere. Oh, also, before I forget, all my books are also on Audible as well. So in case you don't like to read, you find me on Facebook, on Twitter, TikTok.
What's your Twitter handle?
Good question. Cause the Gore Crow is one for Twitter, and then it's That Horrid Corvid on Facebook, and That Horrid Corvid actually that is on Instagram and TikTok. Wow, I'm really pouring myself out there. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I don't know if you want my personal address, but that might cause problems. I don't know.
Well, yeah, no. You know what? This has actually been a very fun interview. Thanks for agreeing to do this.
Thanks for not leaving me in the middle of the interview. Sometimes I just set off a lot of red flags, and so I just try to keep myself in check.
Well, so. I did tell you that I lived on the streets for 13 years, so there's nothing you could have said or done that would have sent me running.
And that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to get away with some stuff here today, and that's great. So this has been great. You know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to make another pot of coffee, and then I'm going to go to bed, which seems counterintuitive of what I should be doing, but I just
well,
okay.
Liian, thank you so much for this, and
one more thing. From now on, every time you interview someone, can you just tell them that I said hello? They don't know who I am, but it's just, I think it would be nice.
Well, do you know why I reached out to you? Because you came as a recommendation.
Yeah, Tara, he said.
Yes.
Which is great. I didn't even know people still remembered me.
So that's how you got selected to be a part of this.
Is that it?
That's it. We're done.
You've been listening to Between the Lines. In future episodes, I will be speaking with authors and writers from across the country about all things writing. If you liked what you heard, click the subscribe button to be notified of any and all new episodes or content. Be sure to visit me at www.therandylacey.ca. Thanks for your time and ears. Tune in, be inspired, and write on.